it's been a little bit difficult at times to stay focused on issues since I'm researching Asia, issues that seem almost a world away when they're issues here in our country. But it's been really interesting to kind of study, some of these issues of, freedom of expression, freedom of assembly that are happening in Asian countries like Thailand, the Philippines, China, and then drawing parallels to situations that we're seeing right now in the United States with how the police and the government are responding to protests and any kind of opposition.
It's hard to kind of keep the focus either on the project or on what's going on in the US. I'm researching the Americas and Europe, so in some ways it is very closely tied to the stuff I'm going to be writing about. I will be covering this. But at the same time, I think that it's easy to go too far in my focus in either direction, to think about the ways in which there are issues of police violence in Latin America and in Eastern Europe. Those countries have those issues, sometimes in a much more clearly presented way, but it's interesting now that these problems are coming to light so directly and being so clearly called out by people in the US.
Last week and this week were I think last week especially was the hardest week, just because emotions were so high in America. We've been known that racism is a thing and it affects people in very profound, difficult ways, but to see it on video and then to kind of be shook and reminded of all the other video evidence brutality that's happening against Black Americans, it was hard, I think, and it was also just hard to hear people's testimonies, people that we go to school with, their testimonies about racism in our institution, in our in their daily lives, I guess. So it was super hard emotionally, and but I think it really was absolutely necessary, and I'm so excited to see where the momentum will take us. I think the tone of this week is way more, I think it's less America-centric in that we're hearing about these stories from all over the world, in New Zealand, Iraq, that article I sent y'all, in detention centers here, even in America, where people are seeing this movement and recognizing the intersectionality of this fight for justice, and that their fight, Black Americans' fight, is our fight.
A lot of the things that have been happening with the Black Lives Matter movement in the past few weeks, I think have been really eye-opening for me, in the sense that I think sometimes I forget the way it seems, at least right now, to take massive public outrage and a huge outcry for justice for things to actually get done, for the officers to be convicted or charged, actually, for people to be aware of Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor and a lot of those things that have happened that have been pushed under the rug. And I think that to me speaks to the power of some of the stuff that we're doing in our research.